Okay, Parshat Eikev. There's a lot to say. I'm just going to share just a few ideas briefly. Eikev is another parsha which really focuses on some of the fundamentals of Jewish philosophy, our connection to Hashem, his desire that we listen to him, and how to do that. And so, what is it? Right. So that's not it. Give me a second. There we go. Ooh, almost had it. Um, won't let me get to the top of the screen here. That's one way to do it. Let's see. Okay. One moment. I'm sorry. Whew. All right. I got this. I can outsmart my computer. Here we go. Just a few ideas. Um, First of all, the in Parshat Eikev, uh, there's a few warnings here. So one of the warnings is that you might be scared of the many nations of the world, a lot of the Canaanite nations that you'll have to deal with. So it says, chapter 7, verse 17 through 21, Ki tomar bilvavecha, bilvavcha rabim hagoyim ha'ela, you'll say in your heart, there's a lot of nations there. Ha'ela memeni echa uchal lehorisham, how am I going to defeat them? Lo tira mehem. Zachor, don't be afraid of them. Zachor tiskor et Hashem asa Hashem elokecha lefaro v'chol Mitzrayim. You have to remember that you're not dealing with them alone. Hashem is with you, and Hashem dealt with Paro and all of Mitzrayim, v'masot gadolot with great signs. Asher ru'u enecha that your eyes saw. Otot moftim signs and wonders. Yad chazakah was a strong hand, zroa netiyah, an outstretched arm. Asher hotziyecha Hashem elokecha that Hashem showed then. Kain yaseh Hashem elokecha l'chol ha'imim asher ata yirei mipnehem. Hashem is going to do the same thing to all these nations that you see before you. But gam et hatzira yishalach Hashem. Even the tzira, this bug, this insect, Hashem is the wasp, perhaps that Hashem is going to send before you. Bam ad avod hanisharim hanistarim mipanecha until these people disappear before you. Lo taharos mipnehem ki Hashem elokecha b'kirbecha kel gadol v'nora. Hashem, the great and awesome God, is with you. You don't have to be afraid of these people. So the Ketav Sofer has a question. It seems like we're concerned with two different things, and it says it twice. Do not fear. Al tira lo tarot. It says fear so many times. Why are we being reminded again a second time in these short verses not to be afraid? Don't be afraid of them. Blah 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 blah. I shouldn't say blah 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 about the Torah, but for all these other reasons. And then there's going to be the tzira. Don't be afraid. This is not a poem. You don't have to conclude the way you said. This isn't Dylan Thomas or something. You don't have to conclude the way you started. It's not a country song. So why is Hashem, why is Moshe reminding us twice not to be afraid? So yeah. So the Katav Sofer and the son of the Chatam Sofer says a very beautiful thing. It's a long piece, but just to summarize, we're told about different things. We're told about different things. We're told about we've got concerns that are big national concerns. We can also be concerned about minor personal concerns. We have to remember that Hashem protects us from everything. There are all kinds of worries in the world, all kinds of things to be concerned about. And Hashem protects us from the natural and the unnatural, from the big, from the small, from everything. And that's one of the important themes here. Is that especially he goes on to say that the Jewish people are especially concerned about Israel because when we go into Israel, we're going to be living a normal, natural world, normal, natural life. It's not a miraculous life living in Israel. It's normal. You have to get up in the morning. You have to farm. You have to do everything else. It's not like the man falling from heaven. You will have to have a normal life. You'll have to have a normal war without the clouds of glory protecting you or anything else. So what are we going to do? That's what they're afraid of. So to that, the Ktav Sofer explains, to that, this is what Moshe is responding to. Even when it's not miraculous, Hashem is still there in the quote unquote miraculous, meaning open miracles. We all have open miracles and closed miracles, if you want to call it secret miracles. And Hashem is always there and always protecting us. And that's one of the themes here. All right, we'll go on to chapter 8, verse 1. Says we're supposed to guard. Hashem says, "Kol ha-mitzvah asher anochi mitzavcha hayom." All of the mitzvah that I command you today, tishmarun, you should guard. La'asod leman tichiyun, you should so that you can live a long life. Rivitem uvatem v'rishtem et haaretz asher nishpa Hashem lavateichem, so that you will be able to inherit the land that Hashem promised you. Et ha-mitzvah, guard the mitzvah, should be guard the mitzvot, all of the mitzvot. Why singular? So the answer is, Rashi says, Midrash Agada, there's a Midrash of Agadata, at Chilat HaMitzvah Gamor Ota, that once you make the beginning of a mitzvah correctly, you will basically have it. It'll count as if you completed it. It's when you start it off in a good way, it'll be completed. So the whole mitzvah is like it's all the mitzvot. So like you have all the mitzvah is all wrapped up into one. On a similar topic, but much, much deeper, much more Kabbalistic, I have the source sheet for you to hear, is the Or HaChaim, who begins by explaining that that the mitzvot, are designed to protect us also. Besides to listen to Hashem, there's also an idea that the mitzvot are good for us. And in part of being good for us, what that means is that they give us chiyut, they give us life. And they give us life very specifically, says the Or HaChaim. Every single mitzvah is somehow attached to a particular body part. And each body part that we have is sustained by the mitzvot that we do. This is actually something that the Eikev Class also writes about. We should probably talk more about it in another year or some other time perhaps. But these all of the parts of the body that are protected and given life by the mitzvot, they suffer if we don't do those mitzvot. It's the Eikev Class writes about this specifically in his introduction to the laws of Shabbat. He says that all Jews will have Tchiyat HaMeitim. If they deserve it, they'll come back to life at the time of the resurrection of the dead. But they'll be missing, he says, according to the Zohar, those body parts that they didn't fulfill mitzvot with. So that might be okay if you come back and you're missing, your ring finger for whatever reason, or you're missing a pinky or whatever, God forbid, right? Or a nostril, I don't know, right? But if you come back to life missing a head, then you're not alive. If you come back to life without a heart, then you're not alive. So he says that's what the Eikev Class says. That's what Shabbat is. Shabbat and Torah. Shabbat is the head. Shabbat is the heart, and the Torah is the head. So you need to learn Torah. If somebody doesn't learn Torah, they're not going to have Tchiyat HaMeitim, or they will, but it won't be very effective because you can't come back to life without a head. And if you don't keep Shabbat, the Shabbat is like the heart of the Jewish people. You'll come back, but it won't be any good for you. All right. So like that. So that's why it's kol ha-mitzvah. So the mitzvah is part of you. You are your performance of the mitzvah. That's you. That's what gives you life. All right. So like that. All right. Chapter 8, verses 18 through 21 is again worth reading all together because it'll make a lot more sense. V'zacharta et Hashem Elokecha. Hashem, you should remember, ki hu hanotin lecha koach la'asot chaya leman hakim et bito asher nishbala avatecha kayom hazeh. He gave you the power to give wealth, to become wealthy, just like today. Everything you have comes from Him. Im shachoach tishkach et Hashem Elokecha. If you happen to forget Hashem your God, and go after gods of others, and then you bow down to them, you serve them. You will definitely be destroyed. And kagayum asher Hashem ma'avid mipnechem ki tovedun Eikev lo tishmuun b'kol Hashem Elokechem. Just like He did to the people who used to live here before you, so too is He going to do to you if you serve their gods. All right. In the Chedushei HaGriz, that's the Brisker Rav, not to be confused with the Harry Potter character. So the Griz asks, why does Moshe tell us? No, 1 second. Huh. Um, why are they being told twice to not forget Hashem? And the answer is very similar to what we said before from the Ketav Sofer, that there are seen and unseen challenges, and Hashem protects us from all of them. There's different kinds of hashkacha. There's different kinds of ways that Hashem deals with us and protects us and loves us. He loves all of us. But how visible it is, how obvious it is, that's different. Sometimes you don't feel it. And even if you don't feel it, it's still there. So that's an important lesson there. And that's what he writes. And the last piece for this week's parsha, just we're a little bit over time, more or less. So just from the Vilna Gaon, a very beautiful idea here. The Torah tells us, chapter 9, verse 19, Ki yagorti mipnei ha'af v'achama asher katzaf Hashem Elokechem lashmid etchem yishma Hashem elai gam b'pam hahi. I was afraid of the anger of Hashem. This seems to be talking about the sin of the golden calf. Moshe was afraid that Hashem was going to kill you all, and then Hashem listened to me, and He did not kill you. So there's a Gemara in Baba Batra 9b. It says, Amar Rabbi Eliezer Gadol ha'oset tzedakah b'seter yoter Moshe Rabbeinu. The person who gives tzedakah b'seter, which usually means secretly, is greater than Moshe Rabbeinu. Now remember, Moshe is pretty great. He was able to convince Hashem not to kill us. That's how are you going to be greater than that just because you gave tzedakah? So he explains that in the time when, so maybe we're mistranslating the word beseter. Usually it means secretly, but maybe seter means something else. Maybe it's not us that are doing the tzedakah in secret. Maybe it's Hashem who is secret now. He's hard to find. And still, people do mitzvot. And still, there's no obvious signs that Hashem is going to reward you. There's no obvious signs that Hashem is going to punish you. You have to believe, you have to see it, you have to feel it. And when you do, and you still do Hashem's mitzvot, and you're still doing them, that's greater than Moshe Rabbeinu. Not because Moshe Rabbeinu is so weak. Adarabah. Moshe Rabbeinu understood that there's Hashem. But you're not knowing that as well as Moshe did. And still doing the mitzvot, that shows how much you really love Hashem, and that's why the reward is so much greater, according to the Gemara here in Bava Batra. So that's how the Vilna Gaon explains that, and so Baruch Hashem, we got to learn some of Parshat Eikev, even if it's a little bit, but it'll hopefully carry us through till next week, Parshat Re'eh. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thank you.